Hi there, this is Erin Nicole, and you're listening to the Move Happy Movement podcast. I've been doing this show for just over 6 years, and thanks to listeners like yourself, we're ranked in the top 10% across all categories of shows. There's over 3 million shows going on in the world today. Very grateful for you continuing to listen, or if this is your first time popping on the show, thank you. Our purpose and intention is to help empower you if you struggle with depression, depressed state, or you're going through a difficult season, to learn practical tools and strategies to positively impact your life so that you don't commit any self-harm acts, don't do anything that you would regret, and to really help you have a more fulfilling life. Sometimes I do sermons on the show if the Holy Spirit leads me to. Sometimes I interview guests on the show to get their perspective so you can hear from different kinds of people and different backgrounds from all over the world, really. And then sometimes I share music with you, or a combination. The music is generally songs that He's created through me. So I'm walking in nature, and you probably are able to hear some sounds in the background. Those are real creatures. And you might hear some people talking, because this is a pretty popular hiking trail and whatnot. So people might pass by, families, etc. So as I was listening to some music and walking and whatnot, I got this nudge to go sit on a bench nearby, and that he'd share with me the topic, and he said synapse. Synapse is the topic. So I had to look it up online. I've heard the term before. I took A&P back in the day and whatnot, but it had been a while, and so there's a definition that my phone populated through, AI of some sort. It says that the synapse is a small gap between two neurons that allows them to communicate with each other by passing messages. The NIH has a little definition as well. It says the places where neurons connect and communicate with each other are called synapses. Each neuron has anywhere between a few to hundreds of thousands of synaptic connections, and these connections can be with itself, neighboring neurons, or neurons in other regions of the brain. So how in the world can that help us if we're struggling with depressed state, going through a difficult season? Understanding the science behind the physiology of our bodies can actually help us at least have a greater understanding of what's going on the inside, and look for resources if our synapses are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You might experience, or might have experienced in the past, brain injuries, stroke, or even like a car crash, or war-related trauma, whatnot, where it's jolted your brain cells, or have an addiction or former addiction to drugs or alcohol, and it has negatively impacted your brain cells and the synapses, which are those connections between the neurons. Is it permanent damage? Well, back in the day, they used to say, it's permanent damage, and you'll never be able to, have a fulfilling life ever again. Well, thanks to neuroplasticity and lots of brain specialists that have done tons and tons of research, they have found that you can make improvements. You can take supplements, you can change your diet, You can go through different kinds of therapies to make improvements in your mind. We know stroke victims can have great recoveries, not all of them, but there are many options to making improvements. Now, how can that impact your mood, your affect, if you have experienced a deficit in the synapses and you're wanting to lift your arm, for example, the button in your shirt, and it's not doing what you want it to do? That can be depressive, right? To need to get help from someone else to help you get dressed or basic living situations and whatnot. It can be frustrating where you had the ability before and now you don't. I have a friend that I'd met probably back in 2015, 2016, somewhere around there, at a conference. We were in the Excels business together, and we were at the conference, and sweetheart of a lady, and I always stayed connected through the years. She has a medical condition. She can no longer lift her arms. She can't give her children and her grandchildren a hug, but she doesn't let that deter her from having a beautiful life. It has limited her in certain activities. There is a aide that comes to her house. I think she's got one 24/7, if I'm correct on that. She's on disability and has certain medications. She has to take it so it doesn't get worse and whatnot. But the medical aid is not I think they're a caretaker. They're not medical certified, so they're not allowed to touch her medications. What they're allowed to do, or I should say, they're not allowed to put the medications in her mouth. They can lay the meds on the edge of the counter, and then she can scoop them up with her mouth, and that's what they have to do. If they're ever audited by, the state comes in and does audits every now and then to make sure that they're abiding by the rules. If they were ever breaking those rules and got caught, then she could lose her disability financing and stuff like that. So they make sure that they're following it to the T and whatnot. I imagine there's some sort of synaptic injury. It hasn't worsened, but it's pretty much stayed constant. And it wasn't always the case. I wasn't born with it. She was more able-bodied in her younger years. And that's something that she's had to, live with and learn to adjust to. So some people are able to experience full healing and whatnot. Some others partial healing, and some not at all. Just learn to adjust their attitudes and whatnot. There's a supplement at that conference when we went. I think it was that conference, might be the next one, but it was a mind supplement, and they talked about there's the little ends of the neurons called tau protein. This supplement was helping to repair, which made the synapses somehow corrected and was able to help get information sent in the brain to the correct areas, sensing routines and whatnot. So it was pretty groundbreaking science. And I'm sure that could anything within her, but I know as far as attitude, anxiety, it has helped a lot of people have more of a sense of calm within them, They had done the initial research trying to create a supplement for college athletes at an Ivy League university that wouldn't be against their athletic rules, but could improve their athletic performance. And although they did see some improvement in the performance, what they thought was even better was like their grades were improving in the classes, and they reported, greater strength in their relationships with their significant others and family members. A lot of them that had maybe diagnosed or just their own personal identity of having like high levels of angst were reporting that they're about 4 months in that they had this like sense of calm within them. And greater scientists than I could explain that, but I strongly believe that it was helping to improve the ability for the synapses, those connections, to be stronger in the neurons so that they could get the message out to the masses. And I think in a way, that's what, honestly, what the intention of this podcast really is. Whether it's myself speaking and you listening, or whether it's interviewing someone and sharing their story with you, the uniqueness of their struggles and how they were able to overcome them, their ability to make strong quality connections with other like-minded people, professionals, or having their social relationships strengthened and whatnot. I think in a way it is kind of similar in the definition of the synapses being a way to connect the intended message to the right people. It's pretty fun. The first year, of course, I was learning to not call it a blog or whatnot, and learning how to share it, how to get the message out, and just following what other podcasters were doing that seemed to have large followings and whatnot, and getting very specific in the messaging, but also creating a post for social media announcing that we had a new episode and getting very specific with who it was intended for really helped. I think in the beginning, Apple Podcasts, which at that time I think was called iTunes, they were really helpful in getting the message across to people. They helped us to do an auto-convert of the file format. I couldn't figure out how to get it to upload correctly when we started doing the recordings on Zoom, because it was a video and it split the format into audio and video so we could upload on YouTube. But for whatever reason, the file format was in MP4 and their system needed MP3. And I was like, that's above my pay grade. Here's my intention. I want to help people with depression. So they're not giving up, advice and whatnot. And, thank you if you're able to help. If not, if you could point me in the right direction. And they fixed it on their end. Like, we love what you're doing. Keep going strong. And I want to say, maybe 8 or 9 months in, started, we asked for a sale, right? It's the end of social, or at the end of a blog or whatever. That's what they recommend. And they actually said, at one point, I said, go ahead and give us a review if we're adding value to you. It's meaningful for us and it'll help us, get the message out to a greater audience. And one of our listeners early on in the beginning, Wolfgang, had posted a review thanking us for the guests that we had on the show, and that it was really helping him. And so I reached out and I said, thank you so much for your review. Really appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything, we can do for you, and blah, blah, blah. And made that connection. And soon enough in 2020, of course, we all shut down and whatnot. And found out that Wolfgang and his wife and child were in Canada, and he's the first responder up there. They've got a child with disabilities, and so they're learning to parent while also working from home, and they're trying to help their child with their education, and they both have their own jobs. And I think he was probably still leaving to go to work, being a first responder, but it was challenging to say the least. And making that connection to him and his family was such a neat experience, because it was not just, we're posting and we're selling a product, and thank you for helping us grow our brand. No, it's like we're trying to make impact, we're trying to save lives. And so I wanted to show some respect to him and his family for showing up for me in the beginning, and created an offering. This was to connect, and really good at connecting people. This is to connect, high-end rich people together with the intention that if they desire to, do business together, that they can, have a later conversation, but at least the initial connection, right? To each other. And this is the online experience, and a chance for them to, speak for about 5 minutes about themselves and connect with others in the room. And I invited him and his wife and said, if you would like to join in, if you've got a business, you guys can pitch your business or whatnot. But I'm just grateful that, you gave the review online, you helped us to grow the show, and wanted to do that for him. And they showed up, and we were able to meet #1 actress from a Netflix series. It was the #1 show at the time, the year prior. They got to meet her. They got to meet a pro football player that had made it to the Canadian Football League, contracted, paid through only 800 connections on LinkedIn. He was very intentional and strategic with his social media content, and they got to meet top security president of Blackwater, former Blackwater alumni, and at the time, I didn't even know it at the time, but trying to protect POTUS and whatnot. So that was pretty neat, and I got to meet my high school choir teacher, who's one of my childhood heroes and longtime friend. I've known him since I was 9 years old. He and his daughter were our honorary guests, and so Wolfgang and his wife got to meet all these wonderful people. A lead architect that has a dream of building mental health facilities, inpatient and outpatient facilities that help people with PTSD to reduce their triggers and symptoms and whatnot through the layout and the design. We got to meet real people that really care about mental health, that care about others, and that all stemmed from the initial sharing, honestly, of the show, and being clear with the intention, the design of it, and who it was designed for. And I'm grateful for people like Wolfgang and his wife, and Lincoln, two amazing people. And I'm grateful for you if you're listening to this right now, and you're feeling that that makes you a little uncomfortable, that stretches and challenges your mind, think bigger than yourself. I believe that we are all designed uniquely. We all have inherent gifts that we are given. And there's actually a book about it in leadership, has strengths-based leadership, I think is the title of the book. It was recommended to me in a meeting a few years ago, and this person was the CTO of a multi-billion-dollar medical group, and also was the founder of a smaller IT medical entity and whatnot. Wanted to pay me for my networking skills, and said, it sounds like you're really good at bringing people together, and you know what your areas, what your strengths are. He said, I don't believe people should focus on trying to make improvements in areas that they weren't designed to work in or to do. And if you are really good at something, you should lean in and do that, 10x and hire out your weaknesses. And I said, I agree 100%. If you're able to hire out your weaknesses, work with interns, if you're a business owner, if you're a teacher, letting your students know. These are the things that I am going to be focused on. These are the areas of need that we need in the classroom to help us, be a fully functioning class. Looking for leaders to step up and, do these different tasks or whatnot. If you are in a medical group, you're a nurse or doctor or PA or NP or whatever acronym you want to throw in there. Teaching classes perhaps to the younger recruits or the newer recruits, showing them these are the things that this person or this position is supposed to be able to do, but you might excel in certain areas. Let it be known what you're really good at, what you like to do, and what areas you're struggling. We can help you improve in the areas that you're struggling, but really, you should be leaning in on the areas that you do really well in. Some people are great at taking blood. Like, they don't cause any pain. Same for the dentist office. You have some, what do they call those? The dental assistant, I don't think it's the assistant that does it, but whoever, does the numbing agent and whatnot, sometimes they are extremely good. And there's no pain. You barely feel the prick of the needle going into your gums. Those kinds of people, they should be doing that more. They should be doing that more. And the other ones that are struggling, find an area that they're gifted in. Have them do that. There's no shame in it. And the synapses or the connections between these ideas, communicating. Some people are great synapses. Some people are great conduits. I think that I'm a great conduit of change. I have the ability to bring people together, to connect people to each other for business, physical health, for whatever. Always in that one. And it brings me deep joy, honestly, to be able to do it. The experience of 2020 that I had invited Wolfgang to, that was the second one we had executed. The first one I had done for free, just wanted to see if there would be interest in it, and all I did was email out the invitation to a few of my connections, and we had maxed out the space. Second time through, even when charging for some tickets, we had maxed out the space in 2 hours. I only wanted a max of 12 people, and we had done it. 2 hours. Like, whoa. No advertising. Just straight up messaging connection. Some were guests on the show, some were not. Some were connections of listening to it. Some were, previous connections of my life, through different experiences that I've had. You could say that whole thing in his life also got to meet one of my college classmates. Sang in jazz choir together. And it was a real experience. I asked people to give me feedback at the end, participating in a survey pre and post. I wanted to see if it could boost their attitude, boost their mood, if they struggle with depression, did it help in the short term, right off the bat. And feedback was great. We also had a body language expert and ranked in the top 20, I think, few in the world. I don't know how many body language experts there are. That's pretty darn good. And in the comments, it was like, what prompted you to join this? What's your goal for joining? You wanted to meet new people, you wanted to do business, or you wanted to make solid social connection? What is your intention? And
air on the side of caution.
After that, of it, we got a long ways to go, but I think the neat thing about it is that similar to synapses in your mind, they can be healed through various channels and rehab and diet changes and whatnot. The social connections, we can make improvement on the way we communicate, connect with others. We can make improvements on all that we're doing and interested in feeling and wanting to put the work in. I know I am. It's been an incredible journey. I've got a long ways to go. This show is just one other outlet, one other way of us achieving our life mission to help empower you to find happiness from within. We've also got tons and tons of therapies and programs and curricula, tools and music and all kinds of ways that you desire to make a positive impact. And we encourage you to lean into what you're good at. Spend at least 10 minutes a day doing what you love. And if you're not sure what you love, try different things. Maybe you're more of an adventurous person and you need to go on a zip line thousands of feet in the air. Whatever it is you desire to do, find a way to spend 10 minutes a day doing that. What is it that you lose track of time when you're participating in it? What is that for you? For me, anything music related, creating music, performing, even rehearsing. My band right now, we rehearse on Mondays, and for a lot of people, Mondays are a drag because you have a traditional job. Monday's the first day of the work week, and it could be a downer for you. Mondays for me are exciting because I know I get to jam out for a couple hours with my band members, and we get to talk about, potential gigs, upcoming events, songs that we want to perform, originals as well as covers, and it's a great outlet for all of us to, relieve our stress for the week and just get in the zone and move it. What is that for you? It helps you get in the zone. Figure that out and spend time doing it. You can do it, 10 minutes a day or more. Awesome. Go for it. I guarantee you that will help strengthen your synapses in your mind. You're doing something creative that brings you joy. The happier we are, the happier and more joyful we will be to those around us. Our energy will be uplifting, and it will attract more positive people, more positive energy around us. So I encourage you to get into it at least 10 minutes a day. If you can do more, and it's not going to impact your obligations in life, go for it. Okay, that's okay. You can check that out. By you, keep in mind the more letters after their name, the more breathe, the more it will cost. So if money is a factor, ask them if they have sliding scale, which means that the pricing is based on your income. I'm going to encourage you to get moving every single day. Even if it's just 30 minutes and 10 minutes out. If you can get yourself moving, that will impact your mood very powerfully. Cardio, especially if you are struggling with something or anxiety, that releases hormones that help you feel better even long after you're done moving. Stretching can help reduce the soreness and moving those muscles and reduce injury risk and whatnot. Stretch whatever muscles you've used, work out, you're good to go. Muscle fitness can help if you're trying to maybe do weight loss, doing a combination of cardio and muscle fitness, whether it be lifting weights or doing body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, tricep dips, overhead press with your back, whatever. Going to the gym, 15 actual weights, doing whatever it is that you like to do. It is recommended minimum once a week. DAC is done. But if you're not a minimum kind of person, I feel would be 3 to 4 days a week. And all your major muscle groups in the session. We have this term, what is it called? Whatever you do to the front, you do to the back, like the math. So if you're going to do is it agonist, antagonist, I think that's what it's called. It's been a while since it's written anatomy. You want to, if you're going to do some bicep curls, make sure you do some tricep dips, right? Whatever you do to the front of the muscle, you want to do to the back. The reason is behind that is you don't get too much strong on one side where it's lopsided, which can increase risk tears, pulls, and you don't want that. Get outside, get in the sunshine if you got it in your area. Cut out what you're eating, what you're consuming. Calories wise, your food should nourish you. You should feel better after you're done eating or drinking. Water and juice. If you're concerned about that, listen to hiring a dietitian or a nutritionist. You can track your food digitally. Use the Mind Plate website. There's the Mind Fitness. I don't know if that works, but it used to be free. Keep in mind what gets measured gets improved. So it's just the physical act of tracking your food that you ingest. You can see marking just by writing it down. I would recommend it for 2 weeks. And then after that, decide what you want to keep, what you want to adjust. Maybe remove completely or limit. Maybe identify the keepers with like a green highlighter. The ones you want to modify, decrease a little bit, as yellow. And the ones you want to completely eliminate as red. Healthier and work better if it's getting fed the right kinds of food. Avocado is great for the brain. Anything that is like healthy fats, like nuts, fish oil, if you like fish, is great. If you don't like fish, typically I consider eating seaweed, not my jam, but to each her own. Again, I'm not anything on the nutrition side. I don't have any certs. I have a background where I used to teach a lot of fitness classes. You get asked a lot of questions from students, from your clients. So you learn a thing or two, and you also learn to not step outside of the bounds or legal goal for yourself, you know? So, be intentional. Get rid of things that might further damage your synapses. Make sure you're laughing all day. Love you guys so much. If you desire to have connection with the Heavenly Father who created these synapses and all other things in our bodies that are soothing, you don't have that connection yet. It is free. You can connect with him directly. You can't buy it. No one can sell it to you. It is a gift. All you gotta do is ask him in your heart. You know he's gonna forgive you. You will do it. So, Father, I desire to have a relationship with you. But I know there's this thing that keeps us apart, Father. I ask you to forgive me. Never be blessed. I praise you. Pray that prayer. Next step, you want to get plugged into Bible Church in first place. And that's Father. Donations are welcome. Our website we don't have anything connected to bank accounts because our website is pretty limited right now until we can able to get it upgraded, but you can mail, text, and you can give it out to our nonprofit arm for veterans and first responders. It's called Erin Nicole Ministries, ERINNICOLEMISTRIES. You can by any amount that you're able to give. It is 501c3. Tax that off. Just go ahead and mail it to 1477 Town Road, number 191. Please call 426-37042. Thank you. I love you. Don't forget to tell someone you love them today. See you next time.